today for the Bitcoin price. And yes, dear ladies and gentlemen, this is a very, very different video to basically every video I have ever made before on Bitcoin. You see it in the title, and I want to talk about that, about this one scenario. Is it looming on the horizon, which can completely destroy Bitcoin, or at least the Bitcoin price? And I want to talk about that. I want to lay down all the facts for you and explain to you what this could mean for Bitcoin. Should we sell right now? Should we buy right now? I want to discuss all of these things. And I'm on a 5-day water fast. That's why I'm walking around here with a hoodie, even though it's not even that cold. But blood pressure lower, blood sugar lower, so I freeze faster. Anyways, let's talk about Bitcoin. And yeah, I didn't eat for 5 days for everyone who's interested, almost 5 days. And let's talk about this one scenario. This scenario has to do with someone who I really like, right? I mean, I just visited him in Miami at his home for New Year's Eve, right? So don't get me wrong, I'm not bashing anyone here with this video. But this one is about a potential scenario connected to MicroStrategy and Michael Saylor. And I was at New Year's Eve at his party, and I like him. I would love to have him back on the channel. And of course, I'm a Bitcoiner. I like how he pumped our bags, right? So, but I want to lay down the facts. And as you already know, MicroStrategy bought, don't want to say anything wrong, like 400,000 Bitcoin or so. So we are talking about, at an all-time high, it was like 50 billion US dollars. Maybe now 400,000 Bitcoin, maybe it's more than 400,000 Bitcoin now. We are talking about like 35 billion US dollars, still a lot, right? I mean, this is the biggest holder ever after Satoshi, right? Bigger than exchanges and everything. And these exchanges, they are not really, it's like most of them are deposits. So they can't just go there and sell it. So this is a big, big thing. And many people are coming out and saying, hey, what happens if MicroStrategy has to sell, or if the buyers of these convertible notes have to sell? I mean, seriously, if you're asking me, and I want to talk about whether that's possible or not, or what I think is going to happen, of course, what I am doing with my Bitcoin. But of course, if 400,000 Bitcoin get dumped on the market, it's lights out for the bull market for probably 1-2 years, right? I mean, the price would just go like this, because as you know, you need, if you dump 1 billion US dollars into the market, you can crush the market cap by $50 million, by $40 billion, $50 billion. So you don't need the equivalent of volume to crash an equivalent of market cap. So $40 billion could crash the market cap by 60, 70, 80% or whatever, right? And there are not as many smart people as you or me standing there and buying up all of these cheap Bitcoin. We would see a flash crash. So now the question is that even possible? Well, let's look at it. I think some Bitcoin were bought on margin, I think, and the margin call is incredibly low, and it's not even many Bitcoin. There is no risk, no danger to that at all. And then we have most of the Bitcoin, most of them were bought within the last 2 months or so, right? Seriously, like in the last 2-3 months, MicroStrategy went really crazy and bought a lot. Most of these Bitcoin were bought with convertible notes, right? And these convertible notes, they have a very big benefit. People cannot just go and say, hey, I want to access the Bitcoin now. For those investors who bought the convertible notes of MicroStrategy or Strategy B, they can't just go and say, hey, I invested in this convertible note for $2 billion. I put in 100 million, give me 100 million US dollars worth of Bitcoin. That's not how it works. They don't have access to that. So from that regard, there is no risk at all, right? Because they are legally just not allowed to do that. But if you're looking at, I made some research, shout out to, I just made a lot of research online. I actually also watched Julian Hosp, who talked about that. In these convertible notes, there is a, as far as my research went, right? Don't claim me on that. Fact check and double check everything. There is one paragraph which says that they can force something if there is a fundamental change. And now MicroStrategy is trading at, I don't know, maybe still it's still a big premium, maybe 100% or so. It was much higher before, but this premium is going smaller and smaller. Obviously, I mean, I never understood why you wouldn't buy just Bitcoin, but why you would buy the MicroStrategy stock, because if the market cap of MicroStrategy is higher than the net asset value of their holdings, me personally, I don't see a reason to buy that. I could just buy Bitcoin, right? But anyways, I mean, it performed really well. Everyone who bought MicroStrategy in the last 3 years did most likely extremely well. But traditionally, these gaps stay close, and this premium goes smaller and smaller and eventually can go into a discount. And if this discount gets too big, it is possible. I'm not a lawyer, I'm a YouTuber who was a taxi driver, right? And I did well with Bitcoin and with trading and all of these things and investments, but I'm not a lawyer at all, right? So I cannot tell you exactly if that is going to happen, but if this discount is getting big enough, people could make the claim, and there are many coulds and ifs, could make the claim, hey, there is a fundamental change. Now I wanna claim, right? And if those people would then claim, because there would be a discount instead of a premium on the stock compared to the net asset value, then there could be a few different scenarios. But this is, of course, something which is in the stars. There could be scenarios that they are claiming, they are going to court and claiming, and if they are getting right, maybe either MicroStrategy would have to sell Bitcoin to buy back to buy back shares to close the gap, or these convertible notes get converted and actually, like before the expiry, and the people can actually sell, and that would crash the MicroStrategy stock, which would not necessarily impact the Bitcoin price. And probably there would also be people who are then buying back the MicroStrategy stock because the discount is so big, right? So overall, these risks many people are talking about, they are very hypothetical and unlikely. The point I want to make is, it's not impossible. It is unlikely that the worst case scenario happens. The worst case scenario would be a chain reaction, a trickling down effect, and a big red candle all the way down for Bitcoin. And fundamentally, it doesn't change anything for Bitcoin. It doesn't destroy Bitcoin. It gives us an incredible opportunity to buy the cheapest Bitcoin we have seen since like 5, 6, 7 years, right? But it's just a very small probability. Many ifs and buts have to happen. We must trade at a discount. People must claim on court. The court must give them right. And then, the court must rule that he has to, it's just like too many musts and ifs. I think this probability is in the very, very low percentage points. I think overall this construct which he built with the convertible notes is from his perspective a quite good one, because with convertible notes people don't have access to the underlying asset, right? The investors don't have access to the underlying assets, which then brings us to the point that we need so many ifs and buts for this worst case scenario to actually happen, which I do not believe it will happen, but I wanted to explain it to you so you see what is in the room of possibilities, right? So overall, I am bullish on Bitcoin for sure. I am not selling any of my Bitcoin. I said that many times. And that is it. Oh, there is another possibility also. He can, and that is actually a quite nice outcome. And I would say the most likely outcome is that if this discount comes and people are going to court, and if all of this comes and he actually doesn't want this really to happen, he could actually lend money on the Bitcoin MicroStrategy is holding. And with this money, he can buy back MicroStrategy shares to close the gap. So this fundamental change is not happening. This is actually, in this bad case scenario, the most likely scenario. So overall, I give it like 3, 4, 5%. But it's definitely something to keep in mind, and definitely something, if the market is crashing like crazy, that we will see most likely a discount, and we will see a liquidity crisis overall. I'm not talking about MicroStrategy. So keep this in mind. Save this video, share it with your friends. I think we should get the word out, and we should not always be bullish like I am. We should look at the dark side also sometimes and look at these possibilities also. Thank you so much for watching, dear ladies and gentlemen. We are going to see each other very soon at the next one on Crypto. As always, guys, as always, bye.